Hey everybody, I've got myself a 1995 Dodge Ram van 3500 with a 5.2 318 Magnum. This is in a Dodge RoadTrek vehicle, a camper van that was made by Home and Park through the 80s right up until this particular model was made up till about 2005, I believe. Anyway, just go through a few things. This oil change is the result of the mechanic not putting the correct oil in. He put in 5W20 when you should have put in 1030, and the oil light flickered at really low idle just occasionally. And when I did some Googling, it said that, among other things, the wrong weight oil could cause that. So I've decided to pull that oil out. So I've already taken out the oil, and I'm just letting it drip down now. I like to let it really drip for a while. Who knows what's in there. So there is the oil hole. I've got the oil plug here. I've taken it out and I've cleaned it up. So I like to hold it when I remove it rather than let it drop into the pan, just so I can clean it and get less oil on me. Anyway, that's just dripping off now. Probably in about 2 or 3 minutes I could put the plug in and carry on. But meantime, this particular plug, even though this vehicle is American or SAE, this was a metric 12, I believe, or possibly a 14. Yeah, 14 millimeter. You can't see it here, but it's a 14 millimeter. I used a deep socket, and yeah, it wasn't very tight. So actually, that's the wrong socket. Here we are, right here. There's the 14. All right. So as we come out, and again, this is a very easy vehicle to get under. I'm only changing the oil because the mechanic put the wrong weight oil in, and I don't want to change the filter this time around because it's only been in there for about 1,000 kilometers, and it already had been changed more than it needed to be. So if you are looking to change the filter, I haven't located it, but I do believe it's right up here. Exactly, it's very easy to get at. And so, yeah, if you wanted to do the filter, that would be an easy thing to do. You would just let this drain like I'm doing, and then move your container over underneath the filter area before you spun it off, so that when the oil comes out of it, it goes into the container. And that's that. Here's my old yoga mat here. This is my dolly. And up on the top half, we've got, this is where the oil goes. That was there, just to get a reference. They just unscrew that, and I'm going to use a funnel. And then I've also taken out my engine oil dipstick and cleaned it, and I like to open up these when I'm changing the oil because they could create a small vacuum, I suppose, that would inhibit the oil from dripping out of the crankcase entirely, so I don't want that. Now, I also ran the engine for about, 8 minutes or 9 minutes. I could have gotten it hotter, but I don't want to scald myself, and it is 30 degrees Celsius here in the sun right now and getting warmer, so I didn't really feel a need to go crazy. Anyway, I'm going to put that plug back in now, and we will dump the oil in after that. So let's go back down here. Now I'll just gently push this aside a little bit, just so I can easily access that drain plug hole. And should have gloves on, but I don't. So in and righty-tighty. Make sure you start it by hand. You wouldn't want to thread it. And seems to go pretty good for a ways and then get stiff. I think I've got it. I'm going to try it one more time. This is my luck, I will cross-thread it. back it off till it clicks, and then go forward so you can't. That's as far as I can go. I don't have a handy cam, or not a handy cam, but I've got a handheld camera on my phone, so I'm one-handed oil change guy right now. Yeah, this is going pretty nice. Not putting much pressure on that. That's how you would tell if it was cross-threaded. You might have to work pretty hard at getting it to continue to go. There's just one kind of stiff point there, and I can confirm it's not cross-threaded because I can turn it by hand still. Just good things to know. Don't much pay attention to torque specs, but I will snug this up. It wasn't overly tight to begin with, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I could take a paper towel if I had one, but I don't, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Typically I'd take a paper towel, and I still will. I'll come back down and just clean that dripping oil up when I get my pan to empty it. So let's go back up top now, and I believe this vehicle takes 4.5 liters. I put in, I should say I purchased a 5-liter jug. Which is right here. I'm using conventional oil because conventional oil is safe in the sense that I don't know what they put in this before I bought it. Although there's oil change history, it doesn't specify the type of motor oil other than the weight. And this is certainly going to be much higher quality than what was available in 1995 when this vehicle was coming off the line. So I'm pretty happy with this. Now, so I'm probably going to end the video at this point because I don't want to spill the oil, and I'm a one-handed mechanic right now. But I will dump probably, I would say, 4 liters of that in, because my filter is going to contain at least half a liter, I would expect. It's a big looking filter, and I don't want to overfill the crankcase. So maybe I'll even go 4 1/4, and then I'll run the engine and turn it off and check the levels. So after you do your oil change, just standard procedure is to run the engine and check for leaks underneath, make sure there's no leaks where you put the plug in, and also check for levels. So run the engine for 2 or 3 minutes and then shut it off. Make sure you've done this on the level. This vehicle's not 100% level. It's probably about 95% level. It's pretty good. Anyway, make sure the vehicle's level, and then wait 5 minutes for the oil to all drain back down into the case before you check it. New oil's hard to see because it's quite clear, and so you really have to look hard to make sure you're where you want to be. Then run the vehicle for a few days and check it again. I like to anyway, and Bob's your uncle. So that's the oil change only version of today's video. Cheers.